We're live. Okay. Should be there. I'm just checking. We're live. Okay. There we are.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay. Great. Well, I'm excited to be here. Welcome everybody who's watching our first corporate Zoom here in the K-Nation Health Pro Group. Thank you guys all for joining from wherever you're watching from around the world. It's so exciting to finally get going with this. And I'm just super pumped to have Andrew here with us today, who is our Chief Product Officer. Andrew Sanford, correct?
Andrew Mangeris.
Mangeris. I'm sorry, I got the name mixed up with
That's okay. With Alicia.
Andrew Mangeris, our Chief Product Officer, who is going to share some great information with us to help us learn more about our wonderful Kyani products and how we can better share them with our clients and with our team and for our own health.
Awesome.
Okay, so Andrew, I'm going to let you take it away then.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate it. And I'm going to jump right in here and I'm going to share my screen and so everybody can see it and see the slides. And I'm going to go through some different slides here. And I'm going to keep it out of play mode. That way I can skip around if I need to, as well as I can see it. Does that look good enough?
That looks good to me. I can see everything. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll just keep it out of that play mode, but I'm going to go through a little bit about the triangle of health first, and then I'll go into some of the other products like our Fit 20 HL5 and talk about them. And we'll just kick it off with our triangle of health. So the triangle of health, as many of you know, has the sunrise, sunset, as well as nitro. And a lot of people say, well, what's the purpose of all three of these? And the sunrise has all of your water-soluble nutrients in there. Your sunset has all of your lipid-soluble nutrients that are in there. And so we separate those two out so you can better absorb the nutrients that are in there. So fat-soluble with fat-soluble or lipid, and then water-soluble with water-soluble. And then we use our nitro, and the nitro helps with your absorption. It helps support healthy absorption as well as delivery of all of the other nutrients. And so we have those in there. It's kind of like the nitrous oxide if you were having a car, right? And so, but it's the nitric oxide. It's the fuel behind all of the other nutrients that we have.
Excellent. I'm just taking some notes here too, because I don't want to miss anything.
No, absolutely. If you have questions or something comes up along the way, please let me know. This is a slide that goes through and talks about our sunrise. Now, the sunrise has 22 different superfoods. We don't have all of them listed here, but these are the majority of them, and it's a full spectrum. And when we talk about a full spectrum, we talk about there's different pigmentations in different types of superfoods. And so you've got your greens, your blues, your reds, orange, purples, things like that. And those pigmentations actually offer a lot of the antioxidant benefit. And so we talk about that full spectrum of having all of those different colors in the product. Of course, we focus a lot on the wild blueberry, and the wild blueberry is one of the most unique and powerful antioxidants that are out there. So let's look at a little bit of those. But first of all, let me just touch on the polyphenol count and resveratrol. So there are tons of polyphenols, which are very potent antioxidants in sunrise, as well as resveratrol, which is a specific category of polyphenols that help the body and support the body in antioxidant support or fighting free radicals.
Right. And Andrew, if I can just interject here, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that was one of the questions somebody had posed earlier today, was that about the resveratrol, and why aren't we sort of marketing it more to the, because we have that great stuff in it. So maybe you can just speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so resveratrol, as you know, is very potent. It's a great antioxidant. It's found in numerous different fruits and even some vegetables. And we have talked about it. We haven't talked about it a whole lot historically. We talk about it a little bit more because of the potency of resveratrol and the benefits of it. You have a ton of resveratrol in wild blueberries, as well as in the grape skin extract that we have in there, and a lot of the other berries that are also in there. So
Yeah, no, that's amazing. It's lovely to see all that good stuff in there.
Okay, so we talk about wild. A lot of people are saying, well, what's the difference between wild? Is wild organic? And a lot of times people have questions about what does wild mean? Well, wild means it's grown on virgin soil, as well as wild means that it is naturally organic. There's no pesticides out in the wild. People don't, I mean, it just grows naturally the way God created it, as well as it's non-GMO, right? There's been no alterations of the organism, no genetic modifications of it. And so it's really natural. And so wild really is the best of all the worlds. There is nothing more natural. Virgin soil, organic, non-GMO, when you talk about wild. And when possible, we like to use wild ingredients because of that. Now, it's not always sustainable and it's not always possible, but with the wild blueberry, it is. And there's a plenty of it. And a lot of people will ask, well, what's the sustainability? Well, we could increase, 100-fold of where we're at right now from in a company standpoint and not have to worry about it. A lot of people say, well, Alaska, isn't it going to run out? Well, if you divided Alaska in half, Texas would be the third largest state. So sorry if anybody out there is from Texas, but it's huge. And that's what makes a difference, right? You're able to harvest tons of it up there. And it's in that cold tundra all winter long, but then they get those long days in the summer where it's like almost 24 hours a day where the sun is shining. And so you get a lot of those blueberries up there. But
Right.
what's the difference between a wild blueberry and some of the other blueberries that are out there? There's almost 20 different kinds of blueberries. And a lot of what you buy in the grocery store are bigger. If you go to a farmer and they talk about how they sell their product, they're always going to say, yeah, we sell it to distributors, marketers, grocery stores, whatever, by the pound. And so they're always looking to get as much per pound as possible. If they get a bigger fruit, they get more money, right? And so when it comes to a wild blueberry, smaller is better because it's really concentrated. When you open up a wild blueberry, it is really blue all the way through. If you've ever opened up some of ones in the store, a lot of times it gets kind of a little white or fleshy and things like that because they're actually trying to modify it so that they can get a higher weight content. It's going to have a little bit more fiber maybe because of that and more water. But you're going to get more antioxidants in your wild blueberries. And so we focus on that and the importance of it. And you can see here that small little blueberry, they are smaller than your typical blueberries. They're not big and they're not as large as you might think.
That's true. One question about that. So when it's grown up in Alaska and it's more of an extreme environment, does that actually contribute to the nutrient content as well?
It absolutely does, because in that harsh environment, it has to protect itself. And what does it do to protect itself? It increases the antioxidant content, that polyphenol and resveratrol content in it, in order to protect itself against that harsh environment. And so that's another benefit of the northern tundra up there.
Well, that's great. So you have more available, we can consume more, and they're better for you. So
Exactly. Win-win-win, right?
win-win-win. Love it.
Okay, so this just shows you some of the potency levels of a wild blueberry compared to other blueberries, as well as it helps support your energy, helps support heart health, helps support immune health, as well as healthy digestion. And so those are just some of the benefits that you get in addition to the antioxidant benefits we talked about earlier of blueberries. Now, also in our sunrise, we include B complex vitamins, and some of the benefits of vitamin B and the B complex vitamins is to help produce energy in the body. And that's why a lot of people, when they take the sunrise, they notice that they feel more energy. Well, they're getting a lot of those B vitamins that they need in addition to those antioxidants. And your body needs those B vitamins in order to sustain and metabolize energy. They help with cellular signaling, DNA production, genetic protection, as well as metabolizing fats and carbs. So those are key of the B vitamin complex. Energy, metabolism, antioxidants. A lot of them are antioxidants as well, in addition to some of the other superfoods that we have in there. Trace minerals is also another ingredient in our Sunrise. And we have over 60 different trace minerals in Sunrise, and they are very key for enzymatic as cofactors. They also help with your nerve and muscle action, but they also help with all of your vitamins, getting the vitamin function that you need. You're going to need those trace minerals to do that. It's also one of the things that people are very deficient in because of our over harvesting and how we farm in today's agricultural world. We're not replacing it with those trace minerals or those little tiny micro minerals that we need in our body. And so we put that also in our Sunrise. And remember, minerals are something you can't produce. A lot of times there's things that we can produce in our body. We can convert things, we can make things, but mineral is one of those things we have to get from the earth. We have to get those in our body to help us. Okay, so that's a brief overview on Sunrise. I'm going to go into Sunset now and talk a little bit about lipid soluble nutrients in here. Okay. This right here shows the 5 components. There's 5 major components in Sunset. One is the wild omegas, and we use wild only sources, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. We have the world's most potent form of vitamin E in here. It has vitamin A in the form of beta carotene, as well as it has vitamin D. And always remember, D stands for deficiency because it is the most deficient vitamin that we have. And then it also has astaxanthin, which is the world's most potent antioxidant, milligram per milligram, gram per gram, ounce per ounce. Astaxanthin is huge. It is in the carotenoid family, and it's a lipid soluble vitamin, or it's a lipid soluble carotenoid, but an antioxidant, and it is super potent. And so we have that in there as well. But first, let's talk a little bit about the omegas. The omegas come from wild Alaskan waters, where they're very pristine Arctic waters. Also, they eat organic food sources, and they're non-hybrid fish. So we're not harvesting them from a farm where they're feeding their own food sources that might be laden with any, who knows what, but their natural diet that they eat. We use wild Alaskan salmon, and it's red salmon or Chinook salmon, which is the most abundant in omegas. It has the highest concentration of EPA and DHA, as well as we use other wild Alaskan fish in there to help support sustainability. And so those help make up the EPA, DHA in our product, as well as over a gram of omegas that are in there. Now, tocotrienols, most people, when they talk about vitamin E, they're very familiar or have heard of alpha tocopherols. And we, matter of fact, it was the very first form of vitamin E that was discovered, but most people don't realize that there are 8 different forms of vitamin E. And there's an alpha, beta, delta, gamma of tocopherols, but then there's also an alpha, beta, gamma, delta of tocotrienols. And we use in our product in the US, we use mainly gamma and delta tocotrienols. Now, a few international markets also have other sources of it, but we use an annatto source of gamma and delta tocotrienols. Now, what's the difference between tocotrienols and tocopherols? Great question. Tocopherols or tocotrienols are up to 50 times more potent as an antioxidant than tocopherols. And so that's why we use this. It's not cheaper. It's a lot more expensive to get tocopherol or tocotrienols over tocopherol, but they are so much more potent that it's worth it. And most products today on the market still don't even realize the benefits of tocotrienols and the health benefits that we have with that. So with that, let me skip down to here talking about it helps support cardiovascular health, helps support healthy inflammation response, inflammatory response, supports healthy skin and hair, supports cognitive function, and helps support an immune system. So these are all some of the benefits you get from some of those lipid soluble nutrients that we have in the Sunset product. Now, one question that often comes up, sunset, I take that in the evening, right? Sunrise in the morning, sunset in the evening.
Right.
People say, does it have anything in there that's gonna make me sleepy? Am I gonna fall asleep? Does it have like a melatonin or something? No, it does not have any melatonin in it. However, when people are deficient in certain nutrients, they are not able to sleep as well. Vitamin D is a precursor to a lot of the hormones that are in the body that help you to sleep better. So when you have sufficient amounts of some of those nutrients, you will sleep better. So a lot of people do say how much better they do sleep. Now, can you take sunset in the morning? Let's say that you're a creature of habit and you really don't like to take things at night and you just want to take it in the morning. Absolutely, you could take it in the morning. But we do recommend you try to take it at night if possible. Your body does digest and metabolize fats a little bit better at night. And so there are some benefits there. Oh, wait, one more thing on that. So the certification there, you see IFOS, it's the International Fish Oil Standard. And a lot of questions, people have a lot of questions about omegas and the sources of omega, making sure that they're pure and clean. We have our products certified by IFOS, which is the international standard, to make sure that there's no heavy metals in there, no contaminants, or any radiation. People sometimes are even concerned about radiation drift from one part of the world to another part of the world, but IFOS certifies that it's clean and pure, and it's the best sourcing or best certification that you can get for omegas. And so we certify our product, the entire Sunset product, for that.
That's awesome.
Okay, sunrise and sunset, we talked about. Now let's go into Nitro and talk a little bit about the benefits of Nitro and how it's kind of the fuel behind everything. So back in the 90s, there was a Nobel Prize that was given for the discovery of nitric oxide. I want to say it was 1998 that they discovered it. Right now, there are over 160,000 studies that have been done on this product now, or this nutrient, this ingredient that's called the molecule of life. That is a huge amount of studies in a short period of time for the scientific community to be able to do that. And the reason there's so many is because it's such an important molecule in the body. It has so many different facets of how it supports the body. And so you can see that there are a ton of studies because of it. Now, nitric oxide is actually a gas. And one of the reasons it wasn't discovered before is because it has such a short lifespan in the body as a gas, and then it converts back into nitrates, nitrites, and other forms so that the body then uses it when it needs it and converts it back into nitric oxide as needed. So it was hard to actually capture and actually see and understand what nitric oxide was prior to the 1990s. Now, what does nitric oxide levels mean? If you are a man, sorry men, but when you reach the age of 40, they discovered that your nitric oxide levels are about 50% of what they used to be. Women lag a little bit and they do a little bit better than the men, but they still decline. So our nitric oxide levels naturally decline over time. But nitric oxide is also responsible for supporting virtually every function in the body, whether it's your circulatory system, your nervous system, even into your digestive system, the absorption and transportation of nutrients. It's key in there. It's a communication and signaling molecule. It's found in your endothelial cells throughout all of your arteries and veins. It helps with a lot of almost every area in the body. This was a study that was done that talks about how nitric oxide supported transportation in the body. And so the delivery and the delivery in the intestinal system and how it helps to transport water and electrolytes in there. As well as this was another study that was done that talks about mesenteric blood flow. That's just a fancy word for your digestive blood flow. You know, we all want to make sure we're getting our blood flow around our digestive system optimized. Nitric oxide levels, when you increase your nitric oxide levels, it helped with that mesenteric blood flow. And you can see how much it increased the blood flow around your digestive system. So let's skip down here to Nitro Extreme. We've recently introduced a Nitro Extreme product that is 30% more potent with nitrates. Now, nitrates are the precursor to nitric oxide in the body. And so we don't actually have a product that is nitric oxide. Nobody can, because it's actually a gas. Now, I guess there's probably some ways to do it from a scientific standpoint, but that would be regulated as a drug. We offer products that support the production or the body's production of nitric oxide. And so by increasing your nitrates, your dietary nitrates from different organic sources, you can actually improve your production or support the production of nitric oxide. Now let's talk a little bit about how we take the products. When we talk about our triangle of health, we take sunrise in the morning. We recommend that people take Nitro Extreme before they take their sunrise. And why do we do that? Because that nitric oxide support is so key for supporting delivery and absorption of the other nutrients. And then we recommend you do it again before you take your sunset. And then throughout the day as needed, if you want a little boost.
Andrew, somebody had asked before, and I found out the answer, but maybe you can share it with the group, is that if you take the the Nitro, you need to do it by itself without any water. Like, you don't want to dilute it in a water bottle or something like that, correct?
Correct. So one of the mechanisms for nitrates is in the mouth. It actually starts to break down. You have good bacteria in your mouth that it'll actually start to break down from a nitrate into a nitrite. And then when it hits your stomach acid, it'll actually start to convert into nitric oxide. And so by diluting it, you're gonna, if you drink it with water, you absolutely can. You're gonna get more nitrates, but it's gonna wash most of it down into your intestines. And then you'll get some absorption down in your intestines. But we want more of that fast acting or short pathway of nitric oxide production. So we recommend not diluting it, but taking it straight right before you take the product.
Great.
Next, I want to get into some of the anything else on the triangle of health before I get into some of collagen and some of the benefits of that.
I think you probably got most of them that I had. I'm just going to quickly review as you're talking, and I'll catch up.
Okay, great.
All right, keep going.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit about collagen. And collagen helps with so many different areas. But I want to talk, first of all, it is the most abundant molecule in the body. 30% of all protein in the body is collagen. If you look at the different areas from your ligaments, cartilage, tendons, bones, and skin, you can see how much of it is collagen. Now, one of the things that fascinates me is bones. People always talk about, oh, calcium, you need calcium for your bones, and even magnesium, which are great. Those are minerals that are key, right, for strong bones. But did you realize that 90% of that bone structure is collagen and supporting the body? Fascinating. And so we need to keep collagen in to support our body in these areas. Now, there's a couple different issues that we have. The skin, you can see here, as we age, that collagen matrix starts to break down in the skin. It starts to cause wrinkles. And so we don't have the same texture that we did when we were in our 20s, unfortunately. But that starts to break down. But there's also a couple reasons why it starts to break down. And one of those is the fact that the body starts to decline in its production. So it can't produce collagen like it used to. And so as you get older, it gets more and more difficult to produce collagen in the body. The other is we don't cook the way grandma cooks anymore. Grandma used to cook with, bones and skin, and you'd have it in your soups and things like that. Today we take off the skin, we take out the bones, and a lot of times if we have any meat, it's just the skinless, boneless meat that we have. There's tons of collagen in skins and bones, and so when you cook with it, you actually used to get more in your diet than we do today in from a collagen standpoint. And so that creates the need of having collagen supplementation. And this here is a picture. It looks a little bit, oh, there it came in. It's HL5. And so we have a product here. HL5 stands for healthy living, and the 5 stands for 5 grams of hydrolyzed collagen. And I'll explain a little bit about what that means and some of the other ingredients that are in this product. First of all, hydrolyzed collagen, 5 grams in every serving. It comes in the individual pouches, tastes great, but it also has some other ingredients in there like chicory root, which helps as a prebiotic in the body, helps with digestion. Mm-hmm. Fern extract, which is also beneficial in supporting digestion, absorption, and apple cider vinegar, CoQ10, and sodium hyaluronate. So those are all beneficial for the skin as well as digestion. People love this product. Now you can take it straight, you can take it and mix it in with water. You could also mix it in a hot water and make a tea out of it, which is something I like to do on a regular basis. I keep my little thermos here on my desk, and I'll just put a little hot water in it from the tap over here at work, and then mix in a couple of HL5s in it. And it's kind of like an afternoon nice tea that I have.
Nice. So mixing that one with water then doesn't dilute the efficacy.
No,
it's fine.
No, collagen is going to be digested in the lower intestinal tract anyway. Okay. And so you're perfectly fine drinking it in and mixing it with water. Now, just to explain a fancy word, hydrolyzed collagen. It's grass-fed. First of all, it's grass-fed, so there's no antibiotics, hormones, or anything like that that are used in this. But hydrolyzed is just a fancy word for breaking it down. So we take a huge molecule that's really big and we break it down into smaller pieces so you can absorb it and utilize it better. Many times people also ask, well, what types of collagen? Because there's many different types of collagen. The main types in this are 1 and 3. So the majority of it is type 1 and 3 collagen, which makes up over 90% of the collagen in your body. As well as types 1 and 3 can be converted to other types of collagen in your body as it needs it. So those are just probably some helpful and beneficial questions. All natural. This product is an all natural product, no sugar added in this product, gluten-free, dairy-free, and of course, non-GMO.
That is excellent.
We like clean and pure products, and we try to produce clean and pure as much as possible. Now, next I want to talk about Fit 20. Fit 20 is another product that also has grass-fed hydrolyzed collagen in it, but it's a little bit different. Its focus is a little different. It's got 20 grams of protein. So 10 of it comes from the collagen and 10 comes from whey protein isolate. Again, this is a grass-fed protein source. So you get those 10 of that and 10 of the whey protein isolate, which is a very pure form of whey protein. So you're going to remove most of the other excipients that are out of there and get a high concentration of those amino acids that you want in the product. Here are the ingredients that are in there. Of course, the whey protein isolate, hydrolyzed collagen, like I talked about, but we've also added in there L-citrulline and L-citrulline malate. These help support long-term production of nitric oxide. So we talk about nitro being the short-term pathway, and we also support long-term pathway because L-citrulline as well as L-arginine also support long-term production of nitric oxide. Now, by way of understanding, collagen has one of the highest concentrations of L-arginine. So 9% of your collagen is actually L-arginine. And so that is also helping with that nitric oxide production as well. And then we have some L-carnitine, tartrate in there, as well as different minerals. So these are some of the macro minerals that you need: your magnesium, zinc, and chromium, which help with your muscle recovery and muscle growth, as well as performance. Now, you can take this product to several ways. A lot of people will take it after a workout, or even partly as a pre-workout. People take it and mix it with some other ingredients. I like to mix it with some sunrise and a couple other ingredients, and it's actually my breakfast in the morning. And so I get up, I do my workout, and then after my workout, I take this product, and it's kind of my breakfast as well as a kind of a post-workout. But I absolutely love this product. It is phenomenal.
I did it the other day. This is the first time I tried it. I saw somebody post that, what you were just saying about having it in place of a meal or your snack, right? So I had the 2 pouches, and then I had, what else did I have? I had a little bowl of fruit with it, and I had a little nuts or something like that to put it all together for my proteins, fats, carbs. And I was actually quite surprised how well it sustained me, those 2 little packets. And so that is huge for people on the go. And for right now, we're suffering a heat wave here. Nobody wants to cook. Nobody wants to turn on anything. If you can pull one of those, a couple of those out of the fridge and it's nice and cold, it's like, yeah, I'll just be doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
So it worked. It was great.
And you did it perfectly, balancing those proteins, fats, and carbs. It's got about 2 grams of fat, so not a whole lot. So a handful of nuts and a handful of fruit, and you're going to get that because it does have 0 sugars in it. It's all natural, 0 sugars. So it's all sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. So you can add the sugars you want from things like fruit or other healthy carbs. 99% lactose free, non-GMO, keto friendly, as well as gluten free. So phenomenal product and tastes amazing. When you taste it, you're like, this is 0 sugars. Wow.
Yeah.
It's really good. One of my favorite products. And I will say this, it's my wife's favorite product. She started taking it, and with her over about a 6-month period, she looked at her hair. And of course, hair is a lot of collagen. And by taking this product, her ponytail went from there to like there. And she's like, this is great, because of the collagen and the thickness, and it helps with hair, with hair and supporting hair and nails. So excellent product for that. And of course, true to Kyani, no artificial flavors, colors, sweeteners, fillers, binders, flow agents. Very clean and pure product. So we love this product.
Love that.
Some of the from a sweetener standpoint, we use stevia, monk fruit. We use xylitol and also erythritol. I think in the HL5 there's some erythritol in there as well, but we do not use artificial sweeteners like you see here on the left, or sweeteners that might be harmful to people. This just kind of gives you a little overview of the difference between HL5 and Fit 20. Of course, you're going to get 5 grams of protein on the HL5, 20 grams when you take your Fit 20. You can do it more as a post-workout meal replacement. HL5, I'll take a couple of HL5s. I'll take 2 in the afternoon, and then I'll also take a little bit of some nuts or another fat and a few little carbs like I'll get from my on, and that's kind of an afternoon mid-meal snack for me a lot of times as well. So that's also helpful.
I like the way that you've posted this up here as a comparison, and that actually brings up a question about the products, or a comment rather, was that is there somewhere, or is there going to be made somewhere where there's product sheets that have like a quick reference of these are all the benefits of these products, or a comparison sheet like Fit 20 and maybe other shakes on the market where people think they're in comparison, like they think, oh, this is going to be close to what you have here. Clearly it's not. I mean, there's so many good things about it, missing all the bad things that are normally in other things. And so kind of just a little comparison sheet would be really helpful for showing those people, if you're talking to the gym owner, or if you're talking to somebody who really cares about their health, or even just everyday people, because they don't know, and they'll just go buy from the grocery store and they'll just grab whatever looks good on the shelf.
Absolutely. Now we have what we call our sell sheets that are in the back office that go through all the benefits of each of the products. And we've done kind of an overview, so you can go through those and kind of see and kind of make some comparisons there from the benefit standpoint. So those are a great resource as well.
Okay, we thought like a translation table or something like that with all the products, like kind of on a one, and just a quick little with their benefits. I don't know. I didn't actually find what you're talking about in the back office. So if it's there, and I'm just reiterating what you said, I'm sorry, I will check, but.
No, that's all right. The sell sheets are there. There's not one overview like you were talking about, but that's a great suggestion, great idea that talks about all the products and kind of all the benefits in one sheet. But they're individual byproducts. So each product has its own individual sell sheet that talks about its benefits.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, let's talk a little bit about On. We have product called On that is absolutely phenomenal. I drink it almost all the time. Oops, you can almost can't see it there, but I put it in a little shaker bottle and I mix it in a lot of times with just some ice water, and I'll sip on it throughout the afternoon. So you can take On as a 2-ounce shot here all at once, or you can mix it with something else. Sometimes people even take a little Perrier water or San Pellegrino if they still like their carbonation and they want to mix it in with that. They do that as well. But On is an optimized nootropic. So ON stands for optimized nootropic. Nootropic is just a fancy word for brain health or brain support. And so we're supporting your brain. Here are some of the benefits of On. It supports learning and memory, maintains focus, promotes attention, sustains clarity, supports and protects brain health, proper mental processing. Here are some of the features of it. So first of all, it's an all-natural product. It has about 30 calories. It has a nootropic stack, and I'll talk a little bit about what those ingredients are. It's got 100 milligrams of natural caffeine from guarana. It's gluten-free. It also has a blue ginger extract, which helps support the caffeine in the product and help to extend the life of caffeine in the product. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we go through it. All natural, clean and pure, no artificial sweeteners, no artificial flavors, no artificial colors, preservatives, no artificial ingredients. The clean and pure, the Kyani way, as we like to say. Only 3 grams of sugar, so you get a couple grams in there. If you're needing a little bit of extra carbs and help you get a little bit of energy, it also uses xylitol and stevia as sweeteners in there. Guarana, as I mentioned, that's the natural source of caffeine in there, and blue ginger extract, which is kind of the amplifier of caffeine and helps extend that life so you don't get the crash that you typically do with a caffeine source, as well as PQQ, which helps support your mitochondrial health, metabolism, and as well as it acts as an antioxidant in there. And this is part of the nootropic stack here. You've got cognizin acetylcholine in there, which is great for brain health and great for your neurons there. You've got bacopa, lion's mane mushroom, ashwagandha, L-theanine, B vitamins, and inositol. So all of these are helping with cognitive function, supporting cognitive function in the body. And so just a huge stack of over a dozen different ingredients in the product. And then, oh yeah, and I think that was it.
This one isn't available yet in Canada, right? So I'm up in Canada here.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't, I mean, I have some because Mark was very kind to ship me some so I could try a little sample.
Awesome.
Maybe I should have said that. But it's really very good and I love it. So I'm rationing it and I'm not giving it to anybody else. It's mine. Haven't shared it. No, I gave one to my daughter. That's it. No more. But do you know when we'll be having this in Canada?
That I don't know. I know they're working on it to try to get it into Canada. There are a couple ingredients we may have to reformulate in order to get it registered in Canada, though.
Okay.
So that's kind of the overview of all the products that we have. And a couple of them, I would also add in that a couple of the slides don't mention some of the other flavors. Like we have in HL5, we do have a berry flavor in there, as well as in our On, we have a new mountain berry flavor of On that is also available in the US.
Right. Okay, well, that was amazing. That was a really great overview. And I think that you covered almost, like, I think you just covered everything and I didn't have to even ask a question except that there was Veritrol one. It was great. That was
Awesome.
An awesome presentation, Andrew. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
If anybody has questions, I'm just going to check the chat here because we did post that people could post questions in the chat here. So I'm just taking a look to see if there were any on there. But it doesn't look like it. I think we got them all.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think we did.
Great.
That's amazing. I'm so excited. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight, Andrew. Thank you for doing this for us. And so for all of us newbies here in the Health Pro Nation group, we're really excited to learn more. And I did take some notes, and I learned a lot, which is really good. I love to see those visuals. And I think it imprints a little bit better when someone's kind of walking through, and then with the pictures, right? Because as we're talking to people out there and they say something, or we want to, deliver it or introduce it in a certain way, we've got that picture of how we can explain it. So you did a really great job. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure. And let me know if you have other questions or if there's anything else I can do to help support you guys.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Oh, hang on. We have one.
All right.
Oh, I have a client who is allergic to beef. Can she take the HL5?
Great question. Because it's sourced from beef, the collagen, the HL5, as well as Fit20, I would say you'd probably want to be very careful taking it. Now, because it's just collagen, her allergen might be something different. So I don't know what specifically it is, but do know that the source is a bovine source of collagen.
Okay, great. Good to know. So you heard that, guys, bovine source. Check to see if the allergy is really a serious one before you want to recommend that one. But we've got a ton of other products that they can plug in and use for sure. So great.
Well, thank you, Tanya.
Thank you so much. And we'll have to do this again when we have the new products and when we need updates for sure.
Yes. All right.
Great to meet you. Thanks, everybody, for joining.
Take care.
See you tomorrow.